A man is bitten by a rattlesnake and falls into a deep sleep. When he wakes up, he finds that he is the only living person left in the entire city, surrounded by decaying corpses. What on earth has happened? The latest apocalyptic survival drama of 2024 is here. This show is high energy and can be called the true last survivor, absolutely fulfilling all your fantasies about the apocalypse and survival thrillers. Without further ado, let's dive into the story. Aish is a geologist who, in order to focus on his research, has distanced himself from the city and settled deep in the mountains for scientific work. One day, as usual, he heads to a quarry to collect mineral samples but accidentally gets bitten by a rattlesnake. Just as he is about to call for help, his phone slips and falls into a crack in the rocks. With rich survival skills, Aish immediately begins to save himself. He uses a dagger to cut open the wound, releasing the clotted blood while trying to suck out the venom, but it proves futile. He knows he must rush home immediately. After chugging down several bottles of water, he starts to show symptoms of poisoning, and his vision gradually becomes blurry before he finally passes out. The next day, he regains some consciousness and discovers that the palm of his hand is swollen to the size of a bun, but his mind is still unclear, making it impossible for him to move. As day turns into night, he hears someone knocking at the door. However, upon seeing his condition, the visitor says something strange before leaving immediately. Vaguely, he hears the sound of helicopters flying overhead, leaving him confused about what has really happened, whether it's a hallucination or reality. Once he can move slightly, he pushes himself to drink water and eat some food to survive. The spider webs on the water bottle indicate that he has been unconscious for a long time. A message from his mother seems to foreshadow something bad. Finally, Aish manages to pull through and, after waking up, miraculously finds that the wound on his palm has healed. While washing up, he notices that his hair and beard have grown long, and the car at the door is covered in a thick layer of dust, indicating that he has indeed been in a coma for a long time. He drives to the city to gather supplies and check on his health, but along the way, he notices strange occurrences. There are no people or vehicles on the road. When he arrives at the supermarket, he is completely stunned by the scene before him. The once bustling supermarket is eerily quiet, with a rotting corpse lying in front of him, covered in flies and showing signs of disease. Surrounding him are the bodies of dead humans. What on earth has happened? Seeing a heavy military truck, Aish realizes that things are not simple. The electronic sign confirms his worst fears. Due to a widespread virus outbreak, the US government has evacuated all shelters. God bless America. Aish instantly senses danger and speeds home. The car radio repeatedly broadcasts news about the sudden plague, which is highly contagious and deadly. Upon entering his home, he instinctively calls out for his mother, but no one responds. Seeing unfinished food on the dining table fills him with a sense of foreboding. He pushes open the door, and a nauseating stench hits him. His parents have been dead for some time. His father lies dead on the bed, and his mother is in the bathroom. Aish breaks down, unable to comprehend how he could just take a nap and wake up to find his world completely changed, with his loved ones gone. Holding back his grief, he digs a large pit in the garden and gently places his parents' bodies inside. Saying his final goodbyes, he must accept the fact that he is now all alone in this world. If the plague has indeed ravaged the world, perhaps there are other survivors like him. His next move is to search for them, but everywhere he goes, he only finds corpses, no signs of life. The church is filled with rows of dead bodies, proving that even Jesus cannot save them. He returns to the supermarket to gather supplies and take some guns for protection. In this apocalypse, the most terrifying thing is not just the virus, but also human nature. He drives to downtown San Francisco, only to find the Golden Gate Bridge blocked by military barricades, indicating it was a quarantine zone. His impatience turns to anger as he sees no living souls. His emotions spiral out of control, and he has to turn the car around, heading towards the desert road. Seeing no hope on the road, Aish speeds up, planning to end his life in this desperate manner. However, the straight road offers him no opportunity. After driving all day, he finally sees signs of life: flashing lights. He arrives in Las Vegas, where the city is still brightly lit, but the streets are empty. It seems the virus has taken lives, leaving behind untapped electrical resources. Entering a casino, he still finds no one. He decides to indulge himself, relaxing in a hot spring and heading to the bar in the nude, downing drink after drink. Just as he picks up a glass, a woman's voice startles him. It turns out there are survivors in this world, a couple who have also been trapped in the casino since the outbreak began. The man, Milton, kindly offers Aish a bathrobe and plays a recorded news segment explaining the sudden virus that has ravaged the nation, with no vaccine to suppress it. Initially, the government tried to suppress the news, but the virus's extreme contagiousness and lethality quickly led to chaos, leaving only a few survivors struggling to survive. The woman explains that those who survive likely possess innate immune antibodies, but what good is that now? There's no government, no civilization left. Ace calculates the time since he was bitten and realizes he has been in a coma for 3 weeks, surviving only on leftover food and water. The man introduces himself as Milton, while the woman is Anna. They met in the casino just as the outbreak occurred and have been trapped there ever since, deeply mired in despair as their families succumbed to the disease and their hopes for life faded away. Without family, humanity, or order, they have lost all desire, spending their days numbing themselves with alcohol. Even after witnessing the reality and hearing the survivors' tales, Ace still struggles to believe everything that has happened. It's all too sudden. He takes time to digest this information. The next day, Milton and Anna warmly prepare a meal for Ace. Milton mentions that the hotel has enough electrical supplies to last several weeks, suggesting they could spend some carefree days together until their supplies run out, bidding farewell to this world. But Ace firmly rejects Milton's proposal. If the world has truly been consumed by the virus, he should not give up hope for survival. He should seek out other survivors, gather supplies, and establish a shelter to bravely continue living. Milton disagrees, saying that when you lose the only thing you care about, living may not be better than dying, it becomes a torment. Milton seems to be venting his long-accumulated pain. Ace approaches Anna, hoping to take her with him, but like Milton, she has lost her will to live after her daughter's death. Her pessimism begins to affect Ace. At this moment, Anna tells Ace that the world is destroyed, and all they can do is enjoy life while they can. Ace pushes Anna away and leaves without looking back. Their plan for mutual death becomes the last straw for them, leading them to choose to end their lives. Gunshots ring out in the sky. Their choice deeply wounds Ace because, in such circumstances, a person's faith is most vulnerable to collapse. Clearly, Anna and Milton's decision fills Ace with endless fear. He is terrified he might also succumb to the temptation of suicide in this apocalypse. He drives wildly, releasing his emotions, and suddenly sees a living creature ahead. Slamming on the brakes, he finds it's a little yellow dog. In the apocalypse, such a living being is rare, and he immediately takes the dog in, naming it Luck. With one human and one dog scavenging for supplies, Ace next visits the town library, carefully selecting several practical books covering various survival knowledge, including power generation techniques, fishing skills, and wilderness survival. He has made up his mind not to succumb to despair. Even if humanity is extinct, he will establish his own shelter on this familiar yet strange land. Perhaps this is the right belief in the apocalypse. Time flies, and before he knows it, a year has passed. Ace and Luck rely on each other, repeating a simple yet meaningful life. The supermarket's food remains plentiful as long as it hasn't expired, and being someone who enjoys solitude, he doesn't find life boring. Gradually, he adapts to his current existence. However, as social creatures, humans inevitably feel lonely over time. One day, Luck suddenly barks wildly, breaking the suffocating silence. Ace looks in the direction of the sound and sees smoke rising from a nearby house. This wisp of smoke feels like a rainbow in his dull life, and he cannot contain his excitement because it signifies he has encountered other survivors. He is no longer alone. This drama is adapted from George R. Stewart's novel Earth Abides. The first episode details the cause of the apocalypse, the outbreak of a virus leading to global collapse. The protagonist wakes up to find the city empty. The first episode ignites our desire to continue watching. In this apocalyptic world, what is most terrifying? Of course, it's humanity. In the next episodes, Ace will face new survivors. Are they enemies or friends? Will they work together to establish a new world order? Stay tuned for the next episode.